Yo! Alright guys, today we have Legacy Lessons Episode 2 coming at you. And I want to thank you guys so much for sending in the clips on my Discord. I am going through them. These are both wizard clips. If you would like to see something other than wizard clips, by all means, all you hunters, warriors, rogues, and priests, feel free to also submit any of your clips you would like to get some free coaching on. I will give you a shout out in the video, as well as link any of your direct social medias into the description. All links and videos can be submitted via my personal Discord in the clips suggestion, and below is a link to my Discord directly. I also have a lot of other really cool things in my Discord, like an LFG for people that want to find people to play with. And all in all, just a really good community for us to grow and get better at Legacy, Steel, and Sorcery. So with that being said, thank you guys for the submissions, and let's learn something. Alright, let's really deep dive on this initial engagement that we had with the priest, because there's a couple things I would like to go over to give you an idea what I see. Alright, first thing I see here is the priest actually comes after you without their shell, and your initial opening here is absolutely fantastic. You hid behind the wall, you hit her with the really big shot, and then we kind of just fall apart from there. We throw a vortex down rather than maybe throw the cyclone to guarantee that she stands still, and into the snap ability for the second full fireball, which actually probably would have ended up killing her in this scenario. And instead we just initiate the fight in such a strong way to follow it up with absolutely nothing, to leave this initial bout with no charge power and no mana spent and 1 HP. And then from here you just go into a full reset, which is to be expected, and I really like how you actually committed to the reset as well, making sure you were full HP before the fight continued. Now as this plays, I kind of want you to think about what you think you did wrong here before we go over it, and what we could have done better. Alright, now let's watch this play out and let me see if you came up with some of the similar things that I see here that I think you could have done better. In another situation, unfortunate about the mob, by the way, not your fault. Another situation here where he comes at you without his shield, his biggest defense, and you hit him with a really nice fireball, followed by another really nice fireball, and for some reason, you evade away twice. I realize that this can be an extremely hard thing to do while in a battle, in the heat of the moment, but this is why it's important to VOD review. This is the moment right before you evade away into two evades to really create a distance between you and your enemy. And my only question to you for that would be, why? What is your inherent danger here? Are you getting beat up too bad? Why are you looking for a gap? You know, you're very strong when you're close to somebody as long as you're healthy. And you hit this guy with 2 fireballs. There's an opportunity here while he's burning to hit your Conflagulate to deal more damage, or you still have all this mana. You could Dragon Breath to stun him into another combo with your Arclight Explosion, and there's so many other things that you could have done here, but instead you chose to completely disengage from the fight when you clearly had a massive upper hand. So I think it's fair to say at this point in the fight, you've actually had probably 2 really good opportunities to kill him, and you hit him with another fireball here, but you're still not closing the ground that you created. I know you're standing on your energy well, but you've essentially given him a free escape again. So without you even taking damage, this person has been allowed to leave the fight for free and get back to his full health, causing you to chase him, which is now putting you in a position where you have less stamina. You still haven't used any of your abilities outside of one of your vortex is. You haven't used your cyclone once, and you don't have enough charge power, which you could be charging on these doors right now, or enemies, which I think you're about to, which is fantastic. So, like, there's just a lot of moving parts in this clip that you probably could just really be a little bit more efficient with, and I think a lot of the early on parts of this fight where it felt like you weren't quite doing anything, it's because I don't think you were doing anything. I think you had so many opportunities to really take advantage. So you use your abilities here, but you should have used your abilities when you had this massive upper hand on this guy before he got to reset on you, right? Like, you just let him get away for free every time he's taking damage, and you're still healthy. You still have full mana. I mean, at this point, it's just it just kind of feels like we're waiting for him to let you kill him, and it doesn't seem like you're forcing any of your buttons to kill him. And you have so much potential in this class to really deep damage somebody very quickly when they're not expecting it. So this is the last thing that I want to show on your clip, and then I want to go to Goldbrook to actually show you some things. But this moment here is actually a moment that you really, really, really could have done some serious damage to beat this guy. Now, this guy, by the way, is in half blues and half greens, and you really, really, really hurt him here. And you're still just kind of chucking fireballs at him. And the thing that I just want you to notice is that you still have full mana. You haven't... For doing so much in a fight, you haven't quite done anything yet. And I think that's where you're failing the most. But let's get into Goldbrook. So, outside of just not using your abilities really at all, the fact that you had mana this entire fight is a problem to begin with. And I think it goes to show me that you're probably a relatively newer player that is still just trying to get your grasps on this class. And there's a couple things that I want to make sure that you know moving forward that could have helped you in this instance a lot. The first one is your stun ability. So as a fire staff, you have a block. If you tap your left mouse button, you'll actually throw out that fireball, spit it, and stun them. So you see that over their head, that's a stun. And when they're stunned, it allows you to do plenty of other things to take advantage of in your kit. The other thing that I wanted to show you is your Conflagulate, which you had plenty of opportunities to use. I probably overused this ability, but you didn't even use it at all. Even if you just regular base auto attack somebody, you'll tick their health here, and then if you hit your Q, I dealt 209 additional damage on this person, and had an opportunity to stagger them if they were in it. And that can add up very quickly, and I still have enough charge power to throw my snap. The other ability that I really want to see you try to use a little more is that Cyclone Scroll that I've never seen you use. There were so many opportunities in that fight at the very beginning, right? If I replayed that very beginning, the priest was coming up that hallway, you threw her on the ground, and then you threw your vortex. So if you would have seen her coming down and you threw the vortex down, you could have easily thrown out that Frost Cyclone to root her into the snap to guarantee that second hit, and then still had enough charge power to hit a Q. And in the middle of that, if you get to the next level as well, you could have always thrown an Arclight Explosion in the middle of that before you did everything else. That way, as she is getting pulled into the center of this grab well, and all these other things are happening, she's getting rooted, she's getting silenced, and now she has a snapped individual ability that hit her. I think you fell short of just knowing the class and what it's capable of doing, and I just think you need a little bit more practice. But I would rather see you come out of a fight dead with no mana than see you play an entire fight and never use mana. That would be my biggest takeaway for you, brother. All right, and then here we go. We have Magi again with another clip submission, killing the ogre and getting into a fight. And I really, really liked this fight for a lot of reasons, because we actually, spoiler alert, end up winning this fight. But I think even when we have these opportunities that we can, when we win fights, there's still plenty of room for growth. So we'll watch along the video and we'll just interject when we see something. But for the most part, I can tell that Magi is really getting a lot better on the wizard. His combos are becoming a lot smoother. His mechanical gameplay is getting better. Just a couple things to work on, which we'll talk about when they happen.
Don't let him pick up that priest.
All All right, so this whole engagement went really well for you, and you actually were able to build up enough charge power to hit another overcharge. And I think the one thing that I just didn't like about this is why we're holding on to it so long. I feel like whenever I have a full charged power in my back pocket, I am constantly looking for some way to get rid of it in a sneaky way. It doesn't always have to be a combo. It doesn't always have to be anything super crazy. But if I have an opportunity, which you did when you stunned him, to get that off into a full strike, you probably would have killed him in that instance, but instead you actually almost died and we have to reset the fight. We're getting killed by this mob. You let the priest close the door, or the wizard close the door right in front of you, and then you just ran away. When you clearly had like all statistical advantage here, you still have your snap, you finally throw it, and then you just let it go to waste. So you didn't even use the ability. So all that time we were holding on to this nuke that we have to not even use it is definitely a blunder here. And it should have been something that we really pulled out of our pocket at least a minute ago when we were initially chasing him out of that room from the beginning. And if you can hear, we're complaining about the mobs because the mobs are absolutely swarming us. And this is another blunder from you. The thing that you don't have is this charged power that I was just talking about. And instead of killing these mobs, which probably would have saved your teammates and built you charged power to let you nuke them again, you kind of just danced around and were looking for the fight instead of how we can set up the fight. So you eventually reset entirely onto this, but you know, we're not accomplishing anything else right now but healing, where we could be multitasking by rebuilding our charge power at the same time, either on that door or on the mobs that were killing our teammates to begin with, where you might not have even had to reset at all, giving you an opportunity to res your team rather than let them die. So again, I think this is a blunder because we weren't efficient with our time, and even in this moment, I know we got stopped by the mob that we could have killed and had the charge power. When we hit a stun on that guy, we could have comboed him and killed him entirely. But we're really running in a circle here where I don't have charge power. I don't have any way to kill this guy. I'm not doing anything. I'm holding on to my fireball, going for like this insane hit instead of just building the tried and true ability to kill people, which is my charge power. This priest just dumb luckily runs directly into you, and now you have your charge power, and now you're effective. Now you have the ability to actually win the fight, because without your overcharge, your combo is just so diminished, especially in those moments where you don't have full mana, so you can't get off any other combo. And you know, now we're killing all these mobs so that we have a little bit safer, but I think this could have been used a minute ago, saved our team, killed the other wizard in that moment when we got the stun on him, and had a much cleaner fight.
He's trying to lose. Oh hell yeah, you got him, you got him. Easy.
Alright, so you've played the class enough to know that you just did an absurd amount of damage to this guy, and now he's got to run away and reset and heal, and he actually gets further away than he should have because you forgot a very important ability. And as he's running away, he uses his invisibility and comes out from being on fire, and then tries to run away, and you had the conflagulate the whole time that we didn't use. So chasing him down, you end up killing him, but you could have just hit your Q and stopped him from coming down here and forcing you down here as well. And we are still getting plagued by the mobs we should have killed in the middle of the fight to rebuild our charge power. All in all, though, absolutely fantastic fight. I can tell a massive difference between the first video that you sent me and this video in terms of how much better you have gotten on the class itself. So keep it up, man, and thanks for sending me another clip, bro. Alright, so I want to thank you guys again for coming back to Legacy Lessons Episode 2. I actually, through making this video, have a couple more ideas on how I can improve this, and I think moving forward I might review these clips on stream so that I can get a more broken down description of what I see instead of trying to do it after the fact. But if you want to see me do that live on my Twitch, it is right here above my name. If this video helped you or taught you anything at all, I would really appreciate a like and a subscription and even a comment. And please, I'm serious, come into the Discord, drop me your clip submissions. If you're not a wizard, I would like to look at some other types of classes as well so that I can teach you guys a little bit also. Thank you so much, and until the next time, peace.